Welcome back to another Inspire View. I am so excited that you're here joining me for these interviews in this series that I've been doing for 2015. My inspiration to doing this was just to connect with people from wherever they happen to pop up, and it ended up being all over the world, which is super exciting for me. Inspiring people that are following their passion and have created businesses around it, or just incorporating it in some way into their life. Everybody that I've been talking to is a very real person, right? They're just like you and me. They've encountered obstacles, experienced life in all its aspects, and they've incorporated their passion into their lives, and that has made a huge difference. They'll share some insights and tips that they've found useful to them to help get them where they are now. And today I am excited to introduce you to Emma Gordon. Emma is a silver clay artist, which this is new to me, so it was super exciting, with a passion for teaching her craft. After leaving a corporate life, she set up her own successful business selling silver clay and offering classes in her home studio. After 7 years, she decided to move forward and broaden her reach by offering an online, progressive, and creative silver clay course to people all around the world. She is a mom of two young children, wife to a fabulous and supportive husband, and owner of 3 businesses. And she's coming to us from, do you just pronounce it Fife? Because I might be totally wrong, Scotland. Hi, Emma. Thank you for being here.
Hello. Thank you for having me. Very nice to be here.
I probably said that totally wrong because I know that in Ireland and Scotland, a lot of names that you'd think were pronounced a certain way in America are so not.
That's true. That's true. Most English people don't get them either. So that's okay.
So, this is a new glitch for me today on this series. I'm just going to say it because in case you end up seeing one of us more than the other, for some reason, this Google Hangout is not switching to whoever's voice is talking. So I'm going to try my best to swap the cameras back and forth. And I'm hoping, because neither one of us wants to be on the screen the whole time. So
that's true. Mm-hmm.
So Emma, tell me a little bit of how you got to where you are with this, because first of all, we'll put a link and everything to your website, because this is when we chatted before about this, I never even heard of this silver clay, and I've been telling people about it too. So it's just so neat to me. And how did you hear about it, and then how did it grow into something that you're so passionate about?
Well, one day I was surfing the television channels and I came across Ideal World. I think you have it in the States as well. And there was this craft on, and there was this lady talking about silver clay, and she was making a silver jewellery piece. And I looked at it and I thought, I could do that. No problem at all. I'm totally creative. I hadn't explored my creativity till that point, but I looked at it and I thought, I can do that. So I ordered the kit from the television shopping channel, got it home, promptly put it in the cupboard because it scared the bejesus out of me, and I just didn't know what to do with it, because it's all very well watching something online or on television and having no support there to do it. And when I looked around for classes in Scotland, there was none. I kind of promptly forward on, and my husband and I moved down to England for a while, and there were classes in that region of England. So I attended a few classes and just enjoyed it and just found myself being taken in. And when I moved back to Scotland, I think we were definitely considering me having a change of pace, a change of career, to be honest, because my career up to that point, well, certainly for the last 3 years of my career, it had been very frustrating. I'd worked for a boss. I don't want to call him misogynist, but it was definitely, isn't he right? And I actually found myself being off work with depression because I was unfulfilled, unchallenged, and deeply upset by the way he treated me. So when we came back to Scotland, it was for family. By that time I had a young boy, and we came back and I looked for something else. And it was actually, I'd made my mum a present for her birthday, and my dad said to me, you know, Emma, you're really quite good at this. You should maybe think about doing this as a career. And at that point, I'd never thought about it. But then it sort of germinated and started in my head, and it kind of moved on. And I thought, yes, I will. And I went back down to probably 25 miles from where I actually moved, and did a certification course. And then I went back down to a second certification. And then I started offering my own classes in Scotland. And that was kind of the birth of it, really. So yeah, it was thrilling because it was just a completely different way of life. And I hadn't actually, I think I went into this and then obviously all the challenges of running your own business and all of that came into play as well. But I don't regret it, not for a minute.
Right. It's I just love your work, and it's just gorgeous. At least the pieces that I've seen online. And maybe you could explain exactly what it is, because maybe I'm the only person that has no idea what silver clay is. I don't know, but if you could explain it.
I don't think you are. I mean, when I speak to people all the time, I mean, I live in a bubble where my world is silver clay, and a lot of my friends on Facebook are silver clay artists, and I'm in several groups, and there are lots of artists from around the world, and I live it and breathe it, and then somebody comes up to me and says, I don't know what that is, and I'm thinking, my bubble isn't that big. It's tiny. And then there's lots of people out there that don't actually know anything about it. So you're not the only one, not by a long shot. It's a relatively new product. It came to the market in the early 90s. It was presented to the market by Mitsubishi, the Japanese company.
Oh, wow.
And I think I had this little vision in my head, and you'll find that in my head that the world's a bit skewed. But I thought Mitsubishi had a pile of silver that recycled from their photographic business and their X-ray business and all that. And they had a bunch of people not doing anything. They said, what can you do with this silver? And come up with an idea of how we can incorporate this silver into another product. And they got the boffins in the laboratory, and they kind of whizzed up silver clay. That's my understanding of it. It's kind of, but it was launched in the early 90s, and it was trialed first in America. And the community has just grown from that, and it's come through several kind of progressions in the material and the quality of the material. And it's now to the point where people can, they don't have to have a lot of specialist tools to use it, and they can fire it by hand with a butane torch, a small jeweler's torch, and you can come up with silver jewellery, like the piece I'm wearing just now, which is a very simple star, but it's really easy to do. So yeah, it's a really interesting product. It's 99% silver, so the little particles are held within an organic binder, and it's like clay. So you roll it and you stamp it and you cut it, and you can design with it. And when you dry it, you can refine it into different shapes and build and construct boxes and lots of other complicated shapes if you wanted. And then you fire it at a high temperature. And when you fire it at a high temperature, it burns away this organic binder, and it leaves behind silver in its normal form. It's kind of a miracle, really. It's like alchemy.
I know.
For the modern age. And the thrill my students get when they do the firing for the first time, they take a brush, because when silver's fired, pure silver's fired, it's white naturally. And when you take a brush, a stainless steel brush, and brush it, it becomes very shiny. And it's a real thrill for me every time.
Oh, that is so neat.
Yeah,
Like,
because
I'm
they've
gonna
been
play
working
with
with,
this stuff
yeah,
because
they've been working with clay the whole time, the whole day, and they've been told to be careful. And they're very, very sort of like, you know, gentle and everything. And then they come to the point where they have to brush it and they have to give it a bit of, you know, elbow grease and really, really scrub at it. And then they realise that it's silver, and it's just the gasps around the table. It's always fun, always.
that is just it's just so neat to me. I guess because it's totally new to me. So I think this is just like the most amazing thing, because when I've seen your pieces, it looks so entirely complicated. Like you'd have to be a silversmith to put these things together. But when you were telling me that it was like a clay, so it's like working with clay, and then that's what you end up with without the whole silversmithing skills.
That's exactly right. I mean, I find that my customers, generally speaking, are people who they've done some silversmithing and found it actually really hard to work with the tools, because some of the tools need quite a lot of hand strength, like sawing and sanding and kind of all of these things. And some people have arthritis, some people have mobility issues, and there's just a lot of some people have a lot of difficulties working with the sheet silver. But clay is much easier, and it's much more instant. I mean, you can make a piece within a day and be happy to wear it, and it'll be all nice and shiny. So a day is all it takes. And my own experience of silversmithing is it's not as quick as that.
That is just oh, I don't know. It's just so neat, because now I want to play with it. I wish somebody here taught it. I haven't really Googled very much to see if somebody here had works, but I really don't think they do.
You're based in Florida, aren't you?
Yeah.
Well, there's definitely one person in Florida that I know of who I've personally met. Her name's Barbara Becker-Simon, and she's an expert, and she's fabulous. And you should maybe, if she was to teach you, I think you'd learn loads, because I've been taught by her myself.
Wow.
I invited her over from America to come and teach for me.
Oh, how fun is that?
Yeah, it was
now
fun.
She needs to get you over here so you can teach.
I don't know if I've got anything to teach that she can't already.
Yeah, but you know, it's just fun to have.
She's already said if I come to Florida, then she'll certainly show me around. So I would definitely like to come to Florida.
Yeah, especially probably soon. You'll probably want to, because I'm sure the weather is starting to deteriorate over there.
You're right. And to be honest, the Scottish summer hasn't been a summer at all. There's a joke in Scotland that says that, I enjoyed that day of summer. Because that's generally all you see is one day of good weather, and then it's gone. We've had probably a week's worth, but it's not been very good this year. So,
oh man,
yes.
I don't think I could do that. I grew up in Maine, and you know, you get months of snow and the dreary weather. Sometimes it starts in October and goes through May. So when I moved to Florida, that was it. I wasn't going back. There was no way.
I think that kind of the eastern sort of side of it, certainly you get much colder weather than we do in Scotland. It's far, far colder. Dreich is a good word, and that's what we used to describe the weather in Scotland, when it's dark and grey and it's just raining, you know, that light misty rain. It doesn't do anything, it just makes you feel miserable. So that's a good Scottish word for you, dreich.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're referring to with that not rain. It's just enough to just to be yucky. I know. I know. I can totally picture it, because I right there.
Yeah.
So, you taught like in classes at your home in your studio for years before you decided to expand this into an online course that people can do.
Yes, I mean, I think it was because I was actually a part of this business group, and this lady had said, well, she'd offered some counsel, like sort of coaching, and I did, right, okay, how could I bring my business kind of up and a little bit further forward, and can maybe make it less reliant on me physically teaching these classes, and because I have MS. And sometimes, I just feel it's a battle some days and some weeks to get through. So I was thinking about having a more passive income that didn't require me maybe to get out of my pajamas some days, and that sort of thing. So she suggested to me that the skill set that I had could transfer into an online basis. And I have to say, I'd never given it much thought, but she convinced me it was a good idea. And I think there was an element. It took me 2 years from that kind of first nugget to launching. And there was a lot of reasons for that. One of the reasons was because I wasn't very confident on camera. So coming and presenting myself on camera was a real challenge for me. I mean, I'm not, well, I am shy. I'm quite an introvert, but professionally, I'm not shy. So, and I used to deliver training courses corporately, and I'm used to standing up and speaking in front of big groups. So, but actually, there's something quite intimate about doing something on camera, and I found that kind of a little bit daunting. So that was one reason, and the other reason was technically I actually didn't know what to do either. I didn't know how to set up the website. I didn't know how to manage a membership site. I didn't know how to do any of that. So I got over the next 2 years, there was several serendipitous connections that were made. Things like somebody who had skills at presenting in front of the camera, and who suggested that, and helped me with that side of things. Another lady that I latched onto was a girl who does a lot of website design, and she was teaching that. She ran a course kind of like Silver Clay School, but for web design. And I just picked up all these things and got to the point where it was really crazy for me not to take it forward. There was always that burning thing, and my husband was always saying, what about Silver Clay School? What about Silver Clay School? It's a great idea. It's a great idea. Get out and do it. And it was very much a case of, he's in the back of my head going, and I was in the back of my head going, come on, get to grips. So finally, I decided, really strangely, to do it over the school summer holidays when my 2 children were at home, and we got a new puppy. And I decided that was a great time to design a website and to bring it to launch. I don't know how I did it. I know that my husband took my kids and my dog away. No, he left me with the dog. That's true. The kids away for a week, 5 days, 5 nights, and that was when I got a lot of work done. I'd done a lot of preparation before then, but that's when the main website was really built and things were done, and then I started to market it, and then when I got people signing up, that was when I thought, all right, I have to do something now. Actually, I have to create something. So that was that.
Yeah, and I've heard that a lot too. Well, it's like once you take those steps, you get over the fear, first of all, because we all have those fears of putting yourself out there and how am I going to do this, especially if you haven't done it before, right? So you have nothing to base it off of, that you're just going into the unknown.
That's right.
But once you do, I've heard this so many times, like how people show up or situations show up, or everything just kind of falls in line, not necessarily without troubles along the way, but it's still things fall in line, and then you're like, ta-da. And then it's true though what you said, once it's up there and people are buying it, it actually motivates you to like, okay, now we're doing this.
Yeah. Well, I had been told by several people, coaches specifically. I had my first module and it was pretty much ready to go. I'd devised it. I'd sorted out what I was doing, and I was getting a lot of feedback in the sort of the week before I launched that it was coming, that there was a positive response. And so I thought, right, I will get this ready for the 1st of September, because if I don't, then, and if I have sign-ups, then I would be embarrassed.
Right.
You know, I feel like I had to deliver something. And I feel that quite passionately. You know, if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. And I'll break my back trying to do it. And if I can't do it, then it's because I'm lying dead in the corner somewhere. You know, I take it very seriously. I take my responsibility to my subscribers really seriously. But it was, you're right about the whole thing that's kind of slotting into place. Once I've made that decision and made that kind of emotional leap and the kind of change in focus, it was much easier to go ahead. And things did fall into place a lot of the time.
I think that's just, it's so inspiring when you hear that, because we can't see into the future. So we don't know what's coming. And if that's a lot of, I think what holds a lot of people back, including myself, is what's going to happen in the future. What if I do this? What if it fails? You know, but you don't know until you get there. So you have to take the steps to go there to see.
Well, I'm kind of the school of thought that if you can you live with the disappointment if you didn't do it? And can you live with the fact that somebody else went to market first with your idea? And that's the thing. And that was always the thing in the back of. Yeah, exactly. And I think that's what motivated me to the end, because I thought nobody else is doing this type of thing. People are doing online classes, but they're not taking a group of people through from start to complete beginner right through to competent, and advising them every step of the way. It's a program. It's not a class on one thing and a class on the other thing. It's basically saying, right, okay, you start here, and next month I will build your skills up to get to here. And nobody else is doing that right now. And I would have been so annoyed with myself if I had gone and somebody else had launched something like it. So I couldn't live with myself if I'd done that. I would have been so annoyed.
I think that's a fantastic point, because how many times do you hear that that's happened, or that you've had an idea and then, you know, a year or two later, that exact thing is out on the market and you're like, I had that idea, you know? So however these ideas pop into our heads, you know, divinely, they're divinely spitting them out to multiple people, and somebody's going to jump on it. So
that's true. I think it's definitely, you have to kind of go with your gut in the end of the day. You have to honor the person that you are and the person that you want to be. And I think it sounds a bit strange, but I feel that I owe it to myself. And if I was sitting in an office and I was complaining about my day in and day out because my boss was a misogynist and didn't get me and didn't understand me, that's of my own making. I have created that situation. So you have to kind of pull yourself away. And it's hard sometimes, don't get me wrong. I mean, you know, we have responsibilities here. I do have a very supportive husband, but I still have responsibilities to my family and my home, financial responsibilities, and I don't, and I want to contribute. So it wasn't an easy decision to say, oh, right, okay, we'll just give that up and think, oh, wherever the money's coming from, because at that point I didn't think about law of attraction or, you know, all of that sort of thing. I was completely winging it. Completely. I know a little bit more about that stuff now, but I didn't at the time. So
yeah, which makes it even a little bit scarier, because it doesn't matter, because even when you know about it, it's still scary to do that. But I think that's a great point that you say, because a lot of people probably think, well, if you're married, you know, and your spouse is working, then you've got a cushion. So you have the ability to go out and pursue your passion or what you love to do. And it's not going to impact your household negatively if you do that. But I like that you're saying that you're still financially involved in
Of
your
course.
household. So it's not just a matter of just, oh, I'm just going to go and start a business and
No, and it never was that. It was always the point was because I'm sure my husband wouldn't mind me saying this, but at the time when I gave up my job and went into business for myself, I was the chief breadwinner. So I was earning the higher salary, and it was a very, very considered decision to make. It was definitely not something that we jumped into lightly. And it's certainly something now. It's still, I mean, I'm still always trying to contribute to the household and giving, of what I have. So
yeah, I just love that
yeah,
point that you're making, because I know those thoughts even pop up for me because I'm a single mom, and I talk about following your passion, and I'm at a transition point right now in my life. So, I'm really pushing forward with it to practice what I preach. But,
it's hard.
there's not a cushion, it's not like, oh, somebody's going to pay the bills for me or anything like that. But it's nice to see it when people do it, and to show others, yes, you can do it. And especially, you mentioned that you've got MS, so that people that have illnesses or conditions that prevent them from maybe going out of the house or working outside of the home, that it is totally possible, even though you're able to work outside of the home if you chose to do that, which you're never going back to now. But
that's true.
But it's encouraging, I think, for people who might be in that situation, that they too can do something that's meaningful and that they love to do, that is not going to take away from their sick days at work or cause conflicts in the corporate world.
Well, I mean, the thing is, nobody's as understanding as you're your own boss. But
right.
I mean, mind you, having said that, I do beat myself up a lot. I'm definitely probably more impatient with myself than anybody else is, and that's kind of interesting. I think you work harder for yourself than you possibly would for somebody else. You wouldn't. I mean, as an entrepreneur, you kind of you're up working till midnight some nights, and you're kind of doing that because that's what's required at that time. I'm not saying that's required all the time, but it's certainly sometimes it's required, and I don't, but I have the freedom to do that. And I have the freedom to say, do you know what, today I don't feel like working, and I don't have to work. Things can tick on for this day, because I'm feeling a bit flat, or I'm feeling a bit tired, or I'm not moving about as much as well as I can be. So there are advantages to that, definitely.
So knowing what you know now, and where you've gotten to this point from maybe where you were when you were just starting out, is there something you would tell your 7 year ago or however many year ago self about growing?
Definitely. I think it would be practical advice. It would be things like get your financial stuff sorted out, make some decisions about your financial things. So make sure you track your money coming in and out. Make sure you can keep a handle on it, because there's nothing that kills a small business so quickly as cash flow. So it would be more practical stuff, because I was kind of clueless at that stage and didn't really know about all that stuff. So that's what I would say. And also, it'll be all right.
Yeah.
It's, I suppose you can look at me and think, well, it's all right for her. But, I've had a lot of struggles in the past. And this last 7 years hasn't been a bed of roses, but it's been worth it. That's what I can say. So
yeah. And if so it was rather a leap of faith for you, maybe. I always think these things are a leap of faith.
Definitely.
And now that you're on this side of that leap, what would you tell others about taking a leap, or at least a little jump or something of faith?
Well, I would say something along the lines of, believe in yourself, trust in yourself, trust in your gut feeling and your instinct, because it's very rarely wrong. There's always, if you've got a bad feeling about something, there's a reason for that. And whether it's something you can put your finger on or not, just go on. And also, the other thing is, be flexible, because opportunities will come up when you least expect it, and things that you thought would work out don't. And so I think you've got to be, there's got to be an element of accepting the way things are and moving with the things that are working and leaving those things, no matter how dearly held they are, behind.
Yeah, I love that. That's a great tip for moments of when you're so sold on, like you've got those blinders on, like this has to happen this way, and no other way. To be flexible and open to other possibilities and opportunities that may come up.
And don't be frightened to let things go. It's not a failure. It's learning. Always look at that as a learning process, because that's what we're here to do. I think one of the things on the earth is we're here to learn and we're here to contribute. And I don't think it's a good idea to hold on to something so tightly that it drowns you. You're consumed by that and nothing else. And I speak from experience. I'm not speaking from, just I read the other day. I'm speaking from experience. There are things that I tried to hold on to so tightly because I loved them. And it's done me no good. Even although the path has been pointing in another direction, I've learned some of those lessons quite painfully.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I'm trying to think. I know that there's a couple things in my past that have been like that as well, and I'm sure everybody shares that. And it is important, because you really, if your heart and soul is in something and you don't want to change it, or you don't want to put it aside or release it and let it go and move in a different direction, it's very hard, but then it always seems to work for the best when you do.
Yes, that's very true. I wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah. Do you have any tips or strategies maybe that you personally use, maybe if you're feeling like ditching the dream or anything like that, those moments of doubt that creep up? Is there anything that you do that you could share?
Oh yeah, I definitely have those days, definitely, and I have them probably a few times every month. I mean, I think that is the curse of being somebody who's got their own business. It's racked with doubt. There, you question yourself probably daily, and I tap. I do EFT, so I do a lot of tapping through things, and I've found that actually physically calms me down. And I think the thing is, the saying about you can't eat an elephant in one sitting.
Right.
You just have to eat an elephant bite by bite, and that's the thing. When you're overwhelmed by something, you have to break it down into little doable tasks, and every time you do something, cross it off your list and celebrate that, because it's actually really difficult, because when you're in the middle of something and you're in the middle of your own business, to look behind you and see how far you've come. There's an awful lot of people that don't do that and give themselves a pat on the back, and buy themselves a bottle of wine and sit down and celebrate once in a while.
Hell yeah.
Look at that. Because it's really hard. It's really hard being in an environment where you're working for yourself and you've not got that support system. I mean, working in a workplace, you have a boss and you have colleagues and you have people to bounce ideas off of. And when you're by yourself, sometimes you don't have that. And it's a long wait for your husband to come home from work sometimes, But yes, so I tap. And also, I think it's, you know, break things down. Take if 10 minutes is all you have, look at something you can do in 10 minutes.
Right. Yeah, that's perfect. It's perfect. And there was something that popped into my head and I've forgotten what it was now.
That's just me talking too much.
What am
Sorry.
I was like, oh, there's something. Yes, it's gone. Oh, well, doesn't matter. So
that's bugging you now, isn't it?
I'm going to back up for a second because I think this class that you offer, I want to make sure, for probably my own clarity, you said that it's a progressive online class. So you tell people, just because I'm clarifying for everybody else, just because of my own inquiry, I suppose, like the items that they need, and you know, so that for class 1, they're all prepared, like they've got their materials and they're good to go. And if anybody has questions, do you have like FAQ page, or how is it set up, I guess?
Okay, no, that's a fair question. It's basically, it's at the moment it's a 12 module program, so it's one every month. So when you join up, you'll get your first month, and the first month will consist of things like a full document, a full training document with colour photographs on each step. There'll also be a video, again, showing you the same thing but in a different way, because people learn in lots of different ways. They might want to watch through the video and then read the document, then go back to the video. They might just like to look at the video and then read the document and follow that document through. And you also get other things like quite a few bonus documents. So what I will do is I will look at the subject or the project that we're doing. So for example, the first month is a simple pendant like the one I'm wearing. And but I'll think about, okay, well, you might not know exactly what silver clay is, and you might not know that it can be, there's the different ways of firing and what it consists of, and the different types of clay out there, and the brand names and all these things. So I give you information pertaining to that particular module. Okay, and of course, and then there's a private Facebook group which you can join, which you will join, you'll be invited to join. So you've got a support forum, and I pop in there every day to answer questions. And I have a twice monthly, I say fortnightly, but I think Americans don't understand fortnightly, but it's twice monthly Q&A sessions live with me. So if you can't make the class, or if you can't make the Q&A, then you tell me your questions and I'll answer them on the call, or I will film something. If it's a particular thing that somebody isn't sure exactly how to do, then I will film it and post it in the bonus section as well. So I'm kind of trying to find a very supportive position, kind of like being a live class, but not. So you know, you feel that there's a relationship with me, the tutor. I care about your progress. I care about what you're doing, and I care how you're progressing and how comfortable you feel. Because it's not, at the end of the day, it's not about me. It's about your experience, about what you get out of it.
Right.
And that's it. And I encourage creativity, and I encourage your own designs. You can follow mine point for point, that's absolutely fine. Or you can say, right, I don't want to do that type of thing, but I'd like to do this, and incorporate the skills I'm teaching you into that. So that's the kind of idea. It launched on September the 1st, and I'm preparing to upload all the stuff from module 3 for the 1st of November.
Yay, it's so exciting. I think that's fantastic, because I think a lot of people, if they've already tried the online kind of self-paced course before, and they're just like lost, you know, and they didn't have the support, and they didn't, it wasn't clear, you know, certain things that they needed to do, and they couldn't really reach out to somebody. I like that you've got that, you maintain a personal relationship in the Facebook group, and with your students, because I think that's hugely important. That's why I prefer like in-person classes, because of that fact, that if I have a question or I'm stuck, somebody would be there to answer it. But it sounds like you're very responsive to that. So not floating around.
No, I like to make sure that the questions are answered, because I mean, I am a person who likes to learn by watching somebody do it. And you could go on, and there are lots of free videos on YouTube with silver clay and jewellery making in general. But not always, the videos are not always explained, and they can be a bit short, or they can be too long, or they can be a bit boring, or they can be just not your cup of tea, and you're not gleaning stuff. And I think you class of tips and tricks along the way, because I talk all the time when I'm making, when I'm showing, not when I'm making for myself or you know, customers, but when I'm teaching, I talk, and I give little bits of nuggets when they come to my head. And I think that's the kind of real value of having somebody there. I mean, I've done all these things, I've made all these mistakes. I certainly have made loads of mistakes in silver clay. I've been taught by some of the best instructors in the world as well. I mean, you know, so I like to pass that on and share it.
Yeah, that is, that's so cool. I don't even know what to say about it, because I think it's so cool, because it seems like you can be so much more creative in a clay format than you could in like a sheet metal format. So that's why I'm just like, this starts as clay. When I see what you've created on your website, it's just kind of amazing to me that it turns out to be silver, and it starts out as clay.
I know, it is. It's great. It's a fantastic medium, and it kind of revolutionised the jewellery industry at the time, and it really is. It's good fun, and there's lots of different types now out there. They're not just silver clay. There's base metal clays, so copper and bronze.
Wow.
And steel, and that, you know, there's lots of different variations out there now. But I like silver clay. I like to work with the kind of like purest material. It's easiest, in my opinion, to work with.
Have you tried the other?
Oh yeah. I worked with bronze and copper and things like that, but there seems to be a larger proportion of metal smithing skills required to use those types of materials, because the finishing after the firing is more. Because with silver clay, you can basically you can fire it, and when you polish it up, there should be no other things to do to it. You see? Right.
Got it. It's so exciting. So share your website, and then share the gift that you're going to share the link to, and I'll have that on my website and everything, because I want everybody to go to your website and check this out if they're not familiar with it, because I think they'll probably be just as amazed as I am.
Well, the website is silverclayschool.com. There's a .co.uk site as well, but .com. So silverclayschool.com, and the freebie I'm giving is a free project. So it's fully illustrated, it's fully documented, the tools that you require are documented, and it's a step-by-step process right through to the very end. And it's how to make a pair of lovely silver clay earrings, but they're really, really simple, because if you can fold paper, you can make these, because it's a paper type of silver clay. So if you guys, if anybody wants to try, please feel free to download the document and come onto my Facebook page and say hi. And if you're making them, or you've got any questions about making them, please feel free to ask.
That is so fantastic. So I hope like everybody jumps over there. And also, because you said you're releasing module 3, but people can jump in at any time with the class, right?
Well, not right now. Not right now. How it works is it's progressive. So it starts with assumption of zero knowledge. And you start with module 1 and you work through the modules. So if you came to I say module 3 is being released, but that's for the current subscribers. If you were to start with it as a new subscriber, you'd start at module 1 and you'd work through. The intention is to come out with standalone modules as well. So, for example, teaching people how to make the imprint jewellery.
Yeah, those are so
the handprint, footprint, paw print, fingerprint jewellery. The plan is to come up with some standalone modules, so somebody can pick that up, buy it, and do it.
Oh, that's a great idea.
But that's coming soon. I can only do so much at once.
Yeah. But it's nice that that's going to be an option for people who've like already taken your course, even.
Exactly, or they've had some experience in silver clay, and they don't want to start. I mean, I think I'm just feeling the market just now, because I think there will be a point where I will have a more advanced level. You know, something for the people who have done the modules 1 to 12 to kind of progress onto, but also people who have already done some silver clay work and want to kind of jump in to a more experienced project.
Right.
So the point was that I didn't want people to feel overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And I was basically targeting a market that was anybody who wants to be creative and hasn't done anything for a while, people who already are creative, are in jewellery making but have wanted to try silver clay but haven't for whatever reason. And just those were the people I was targeting. That was where my focus was at the start. But I definitely have had questions about standalone modules and perhaps more advanced offering. So that's in the pipeline. Or it's not in the pipeline, it's kind of in here.
Yes. Well, it's at the beginning.
Yes. Well, I've only been going 3 months, so this company has only been going 3 months, and so I just need to see it settle down.
Right. I think this is just an amazing thing, and that you followed people's advice when they saw something in you or saw something you were good at that you didn't even think about. To take it to a different level. I think that happens so often with people, that we don't see our own talents so much. So it's nice that you've got that encouragement behind you with your family and everything to get you to this point, because that's really exciting. It's exciting.
Thank you so much. That's very kind of you.
So I just want to tell everybody everything, the links to Emma's course and her website will all be on my website on CherriseBoucher.com. And if you go over to the right-hand side of the website under Inspire View series, this interview is under part 2 of the year, as I'm wrapping up 2015. And also, I release it now on my YouTube channel, so it's totally shareable for everybody, because I think that sharing everybody's stories freely inspires so many more people that way than trying to contain it in a little membership site or something. That's my own opinion. That's how I actually started this out, and then I felt differently about it and just wanted to share all over the place. So that's where I've shifted that this year, because I just have been so enjoying everybody's stories and these creative people, women that I've talked to, like Emma. Emma, there, I switched back to you. Are so inspiring to everybody. And thank you so much for being on this series and sharing everything. And I think this is going to be inspiring for other people to start their own businesses out of something that they're talented at or that they enjoy doing. And maybe they'll be making some of their own jewelry. Yeah. Maybe I'll be making some of my own jewelry.
That would be more than welcome. Yes. Well, thank you so much for taking time out to speak to me. It's been a pleasure to speak to you and to meet you.
Yes, you too. And we'll definitely keep in touch.
Oh, yes. That would be lovely.
Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, no problem.